Thank you. So I noticed that University of Oregon is a sponsor 2 times here. So this story starts at the center of the universe. Not Eugene, but Corvallis. Boom! So the Nutcase story starts November 16, Thursday, November 16, year 2000. It is 2 days before the Civil War. Civil War is Saturday. This is going to be the biggest Civil War in history. The Ducks are ranked 5th, the Beavers are ranked 8th. Like I said, I grew up in Corvallis, center of the universe. So I grew up with Ralph Miller, DeAndros, Jack Riley in our house. My dad was this town judge. We bleed orange and black. Crappy-ass football team for a long time. Great basketball team for a long time. Finally, there's a Civil War where it matters. I'm going to the game on Saturday. It also happens to be my last day at Nike. I grew up, I guess, in center of the universe, Corvallis. Sports and art, that's what I did all my life. That's still what I do, actually. Miriam will attest to that. So my first initial dream was shortstop for the Oakland A's. And I'm still working on that, actually. That's my trainer, Sean, is kicking my ass every day. So grew up, A's, Beavers, Dolphins, Blazers, cyanide tablet between my teeth every game. That's how I live, and art. So it turns out I ended up at Nike, perfect place for me. I love Nike, I still do. I drank the Kool-Aid for Nike, I guess I'd just grown up. So I was perfect for Nike. I rose really well there, mostly because they let me do stuff I wanted to do, which is make up things. And so it started to get a little bit not interesting anymore. After 10 years, I wanted to run my own company. My family is a bunch of entrepreneurs. You might know of Morrow Snowboards and Morrow Crane, as you see these yellow cranes out here. Morrow Electronics developed the Loran system for GPS. So I grew up with entrepreneurs in the blood. I didn't want to go the rest of my career just not having done my own thing. So after 10 years, I worked out a deal with Nike. I was gone. And this was the last day, Thursday, before the Civil War. So I'm there, 6:30, our little boy Zane is about 3, he's with me, I'm getting my last stuff, I'm fired up, I'm done, I'm going on to a whole new adventure. I wasn't totally sure what it'd be. I was gonna go do creative services like what I was doing at Nike, but I wanted to make my own brand, but I didn't know what. But I was happy to be leaving. The one thing was that my boss at the time I did not like. And I mean, I did not like him, kind of hated him. So, and I'm serious. He was a big duck. So, green and yellow jelly beans, oh my God, it's just like, so he comes down, he's the last guy I see. Comes down to the office and just about ready to go, comes in, he's shooting the shit with me. Hey, I'm thinking, I'm just rolling my eyes, I can't even, okay, so fine. Finally he goes, ought to be a great game Saturday. And I just, with everything, I couldn't contain it. I just went, we're gonna kick your ass! I'm like right in his face like this. I mean, he was totally, I could have tackled him. I'm not serious, it was like that, like ferocious. And he goes, oh, all right, Michael, well, see you later. All right, see you later. And he ran out. And I'm like, ugh. And so I get Zane, and we come along, I'm going out. And 5 minutes later, I meet Miriam and our daughter, Alina, around Nike pizza parlor, and I'm just wired, I'm like, I gotta make something. So I sketched on a napkin a helmet, like an old football/motorcycle helmet. It'd be black and orange white stripes and orange O's and these like mohawk of steel spikes and a rubber duckies on these spikes. So I said, honey, I'm gonna make this helmet and I'm gonna wear it to the game. So that night and the next day, grabbed a skateboard helmet from my buddy 2 doors down, who's a duck, kind of funny, and just a crappy black skateboard style helmet. And I just taped it up. I did all these O's and stuff. Had these big giant 4-inch screws. Slammed these rubber duckies on them. Joey Harrington was a quarterback. Keenan Howry's a wide receiver. I had all their names on there. I was doing it all up. Take it down. By Friday night, we had a big Civil War party the night before my brother's. The thing had to dry for 36 hours for those things to stick on the helmet. Game was noon, televised nationally. Internet with Dan Fouts, another duck, Keith Jackson. So go to the game, and I'm doing the circle around the stands. I just look like a nut. Like seriously, people are going, "What is that?" Beaver fans are to figure it out, and they go, yes! And then Duck fans are going, what, that sucks! And it was like, I just did the loop. And it drew so much energy and attention that after the game, which we won 23-13, it was because of the helmet. Yeah, put us over the top. Afterwards, I kind of got home and I went, man, that thing was like, it was lightning. People were just reacting to it. And, there's helmets. How come there's more helmets on the campuses? And why is it more like baseball hats? Because everybody wears that. So I took a little step back and I started looking at helmets. And I went out and looked at them. I really never looked at helmets, actually. Went out there and started looking at them, and they suck. I mean, really. They just suck. They are the ugliest, stupidest, dumbest looking things. Graphics, mostly graphic design was just bad. It was either licensed characters or Barney Dinosaur or Skull and Crossbones or Shards of Glass or I don't know, but it was terrible. And I went, oh, maybe there's something here. So I didn't have it yet. I just started doing what I do, which is let it incubate. I had to get our little design business going. And which I kind of get, I basically did what I did at Nike for other people like ESPN, X Games, Disney. I just used all my Nike leverage, all the network I had to find, jobs. And I did it all in sport. I had a great time doing it. And while I was doing that, I would be working on Nutcase kind of on the side going, what is this going to be? Is it going to be mascots on helmets? Is it going to be, I started looking at more helmets in stores. I'd never done a helmet. So I'd go to we go to trade shows, and I'd go to the sourcing section, which I had not done, even though I'd been to trade shows like crazy in sporting goods. And I'd source in the China section. Like, I got to find a helmet factory. So one thing led to another. It took about 2 years, and I found a factory and started doing the business planning of the work. And it came to be that, mascots on stuff, that doesn't make any sense, but a watermelon helmet, that would be sweet. So it really came to Swatch watches, which changed the world of timing in the middle 80s. And they're now 5 billion or maybe more now. They changed everything. It was like, okay, how about that with meets helmets? We could do that. So made a watermelon helmet with this factory I found, and it comes back in this little brown box. I sort of looked like, I don't know where it came from, the factory floor somewhere. Opened it up, and it was, watermelon helmet. And I took it out, and Miriam and I were both going, we can do well at this. It was sweet. Now, it's not as sweet as our watermelon helmets today. We definitely perfected the decals and the art and stuff, but for what the Frankenstein helmet was, it was pretty good. So it was our first kind of, this could be huge. So then we took the next leap of going, what is this going to be now? I need to make a line. So I started building what I do. I said, make up a name. It had to be a name that was going to not be Bell or Giro or these stupid helmet companies. It had to be something that was lifestyle, that you would love it, that you would want to wear it, right? Like a fashion brand in a way. So Nutcase just pops, this is how I am. I just write stuff and I make it up. And so the prude I asked was Alina, who's 8, who's my daughter in bed. I said, what do you think of that one? She said, yeah, that's cool. So I went with it. So there's no research groups here. This is just trust your gut and your daughter. And we go with that. And then we build up the deck. The next big little milestone was okay, I'm going to pay to make samples. I made 5 sets of samples of 5 different graphic helmets, 8-ball and a watermelon and a pain splatter and a bullseye and all these things. And a big poster that was the 30 crazy, again, Swatch watches, think about how crazy they all are and different. And sent that to a good friend of mine, got back to leveraging my network. One of my good friends at Nike at the time, he had moved on to Target. He was now SVP or whatever, Senior Vice President of Soft Lines or something like that in the stratosphere. But he was a cool guy, and we got along great, and his name was Michael, too. So I sent him all this stuff, and he does a backflip, and his VP of Sport does a backflip, and the buyer does a backflip, and they get on the phone and say, we want it. I'm like, sweet! Okay, so we weren't wanting to go and really manufacture, and we tried. We said, hey, how about if we manufacture, maybe we'd make a little bit more per helmet? They just kind of looked at us like, no, because we'll crush you in about a second. So they said, look, you go get a deal done with our biggest distributor, the biggest supplier to all of our, which was PTI Sports in Miami, which I'd already talked to and I'd already done a deal. I'd already had him going, you go get Target, we'll do a deal. So I flew down from New York to Miami, met with Warren Schaefer at PTI, 10% deal, royalty, 250,000 helmets. Boom, already bigger than X Games helmets in 2006. We hit it. So that was awesome. That was like a great day. And about 2 months later, we built a website, caught fishies, caught the people coming in, kind of talking, loving Nike. I mean, Nike. Oh, I do that all the time. Do you? I go Nike all the time. Nutcase. And the biggest letter that came into us in about March of the first year was Hugh O'Neill, the father of a kid, 8-year-old kid, Jack O'Neill in Boston, who had been hit and life flighted from their neighborhood to Boston, Mass, and survived. And the doctors told Hugh that he would have died if he didn't have his helmet on. And Hugh told us the only reason he wore that helmet, any helmet, is because he loved his Nutcase graffiti helmet. He would not wear another helmet. He would wear it when he was not even riding or anything. He would just put his helmet on. And so that is when the hair stood up on our back and we went, fuck me. Graphics do save frickin' lives. We went, holy cow. So we went, oh my God. And that's when we thought, maybe this is bigger than Target. Bigger than frickin' Target. So at that point, we said the next big deal was, so now, fuck. And I'd been in sporting goods for a long time with Nike and all that. So, yeah, but you don't usually go from mass channel of distribution to specialty if we were going to do our own helmet company. That was the idea. So okay, well, but you know what? Let's find out. Let's figure out a way to do it. So we made a new line of helmets. Looked similar, shared some graphics, different packaging and whatnot. Sampled them up. And I went to Jay Graves here in Portland, who's not now Bike Gallery, but the Graves family owned Bike Gallery for a long time. #1 bike store, #1 bike city in the United States, and he was the former president of all the dealers association of the bike dealers. So I went into Jay. This is about testing your idea a little bit. Jay, here's my stuff in Target, and here's our stuff and gonna go in your store. It's $20 over here, it's $35 at you. Tell me now, let me shoot myself in the head now that I'm gonna get fucked up if I go do this. I don't wanna lose money going to this because you say your dealers are gonna just kick me in the balls for saying do this because it's over in Target. He said, no, calm down. He's like, it'll be good. We'll take it in. I think it'll work. Because he confirmed what we believed was that people weren't, the customer goes to Bike Gallery, does not run out and then go to Target to go look for a helmet or a bike or something. So we did it. Next thing was we put, I don't know, $25,000 down and brought a container in of our helmets, stored them at the public storage on Halsey, because we already had a garage filled with helmets, and started selling in that. They launched our specialty line that we were now taking fulfillment distribution. Bike Gallery in fall of '06, and it sold more than they've ever sold in the fall of any brand. We were like, dude, another big win. So, and a lot of this time, it was always the idea that we would talk about would be just get to the next bridge and then cross that. And then, okay, get to the next bridge, go over here. Not win the whole war, just take a battle at a time. So we did that. I went into, started doing the trade shows. The next big step for us from the brand was, went to the Interbike trade show, which was like a month after we brought those helmets in September. It was great. We got some stores. The stores loved it. People loved it. It wasn't like they were giant orders. They were just because they were all waiting for us to fail, I think. But this kid comes by from ISPO, which is out of Munich. It's the biggest sporting goods trade show in the world. And it's in January. And he says, we always do this brand new Village Award. It's like the top 40 best new sports brands. I know, he says, you're gonna win. I just looked at our helmets and he went, you're gonna win. And I went, okay. But he said, you gotta get it in like this week. You have to do a video, send your stuff, you got all this stuff. Did it, boom, we won, which meant we got a free booth at the show. So Mir and I and my childhood center in the University of Corvallis High, Stanford Nike friend Jimmy Solberg, who was our executive heavy, behind us, went out with us. We were like 35 distributors just like surrounding like sharks around our booth. And a couple of them came in and said, there's some really cool brands here, but I think you guys are the ones who can make it. And so we had this crazy night with these two wild and crazy Czech brothers. I'm not kidding you. They were absolutely nutcases. They were completely hook, line, drink the Kool-Aid. They were like pitching us so hard. We went out. We can't even barely remember the night that we went out. Miriam and I, how we made it to the plane, we do not know. Jimmy never even got back to the hotel. But we came back with a deal with these guys as our master distributors for Europe. And it was like, wow, we didn't need any FBI background checks. So we didn't know what was going to happen. Okay, well, whatever. We're winging it. So before we knew it, we were bigger in Europe than we're anywhere, right? So that goes pretty good for about 3 years. We're having fun. We both drank the Kool-Aid. We fell in love. There was one brother. It was really a pain in the ass. If anybody knows Nike lore and Adidas lore, Rob Strasser was one of the great sports marketing people ever in the sporting industry, but he also was known to be a little difficult to deal with. So I always kept telling the younger brother, don't become the Rob Strasser where you like poison the well of the group, right? So, of course, he did. About that 3 or 4 years, we're getting the phone calls from dealers and distributors. Those guys are bullies. Those guys are assholes. They're not doing you well. Brought them in, our staff. Guys, they're assholes. We hate them. I took young brother David out to the factory. We hate that guy. Blah, blah. It's like, oh my God. Now we're dealing with people who we have really taken in as like, they're us, and now everybody hates them. And we are trying, like I am doing therapy on these guys. I'm like asking them to do shock therapy. I'm trying to do anything for them to like chill down and get with the program because we're changing. Or it's not just the me or Michael show anymore. It's like we have staff now. I'm trying to use all my Nike experience for the matrix and management and just try to listen to other people, not do what just I think. It can't be a Michael thing. It has to be a Nutcase thing because we don't want to be in it forever. So, and these guys are not doing that. They're not in that program. We really tore us down. I mean, really 6 years it ended up. We were the 2 last ones standing with our attorneys and everybody saying, you gotta let him go. One of the hardest things. So July 4th, Independence Day, I wrote the big let go thing to them. They weren't happy, as you can imagine. Then by European law, they get 6 months to wind down the Nutcase stuff, which they did, of course, by dumping and doing all their bullshit tactics. Then ISPO, where we met, 7 years prior, February 1st, listening to our new Russian spy, Maria, come and talk to Miriam. I'm just kidding. But sorta. She got the whole story from one of the brothers that now they've created a copycat Nutcase brand called Melon. And it steals our graphics, it steals our language, it steals our look and feel, it steals the words I've written about all of our stuff. It's like they just tried to copy the whole thing, and now they're going out and saying that we're a bunch of asshole Americans and it's reasons why is because we wouldn't work with them or some crap, And that day was one of the worst. I mean, waking up the next day, I was like, are we in a nightmare still? Wait, no, it's really here. It's really happening. They're trying to rip us off and trying to kill us. And they're a little scary because were pretty good at what they do. So we're literally scared. So we got on the phone immediately. That started attorneys. Where was the comment earlier about attorneys? You don't want to go. Oh, Mindy, I think. Oh my God, she's right. We were so pissed off, ready to sue them and crush them, but the attorneys every single time, both in Hamburg and here, walked us back from the ledge. They're like, guys, just chill down. It's going to be like $500,000, $1 million if you want to go and sue these guys. And you'll probably win. You might not, though. We think 55 because German law says they can do this, that, and I'm like, are you kidding me? What? So we, the entire time, ever since then, have worn the white hat, have taken the high road, have never gone out there to say anything. We've just let them kind of kill themselves, which has happened. Their own business practice has gotten in the way. We've just kind of continued to do what we do. When we talk about them with people, we say, guys, we're the real story. We're the real thing. We're the better product. If you want to go work with those guys and bring Melon in, fine. Good luck dealing with Mick and David, which we now call the Voldemorts. That was the new nickname. So they went from the boys, because we all loved them as the boys, to the Voldemorts. And I'd go Voldemort number 1, Voldemort number 2. So, and there were different skirmishes in there, I think. Those are all the stories and me going after a Eurobike and stuff. We rallied around a couple different things. In the early days, I always love these little quotes because they get me going. It's run to daylight, because I'm a sports guy. So originally, run to daylight means just go get the sale. Score now. Don't worry about the first down. Score the goal. And then it's don't break down, break through, which is the factory guy that we first worked with, Bruce Yee, the Yee family. They're great. They were just how we got into business. And he kind of sat me down one day on the phone when I was 08, 09, lamenting the issues. He said, Michael, I know it's not cosmic, but don't break down, break through. So they're all looking for you to fuck up. They're all looking for you. Your competitors are looking for you guys to screw it up, and then they can say they're not going to order from you. That's what Bell and Giro want you to do. So I've used that a lot to inspire then our troops and then our sales reps and factories. And the last is, which happened after the Voldemort thing, which comes from Master and Commander, which we watched a million times. Their son is a film crazy kid. We must survive this day. And we would do that a lot. Wake up and go with, you know the Indiana Jones movie, I would hear this every day with the big ball coming over his head and he's running like this. That's what it was like for us for, a long, long time. It was like, get up and, fuck, that goddamn ball's going. So I gotta go. Like, jeez. And then just take a breath and go, we must survive this day. Because it felt like that. There's so many more stories about running out of money, refinancing the house, getting hacked and stole $83,000 out of the account. Just like out of control stuff that you've probably already heard in these other stories. But the true grit is we have definitely taken a break, done those three things, must survive the day, focus on what we can do, and just keep being honest with everybody about how we're going and build teamwork within the company. And people just want to work with us because we kind of do it the right way. We try to make people really enjoy and want to do what they do. And at the end of the day, when a Jack O'Neill can survive a car accident, and the only reason is because he loved the brand there. He loved this. That happens so much, you can't imagine how many love letters we get. And I know Bell Giro don't get them. No way. No way, no way. They do not. Burn, no way. So we're crazy about it. It's what we do, and it's been quite a journey. So thank you for listening.